Here we are. And this is,
Right.
again, the Sports Cairo chat show here on FICS, Facebook, and various other channels. And my name is Mika, and I've been somewhat absent for the last little while from these shows. And we've had amazing contact from Jay and various other people. So thank goodness for that. And so you don't always have to just stare at my face talking here. But here we are back again, back in the helm. So I've got two amazing guests from South Africa. We have Dr. Jesse Bruins Roberts and Dr. Jaidan Mays, two big sports chiros from South Africa, and all around nice guys as well on top of it. And today we basically have a real treat for you guys because Sports Chiro South Africa has been involved with the Cape Epic, which the boys will fill us in a little bit more about in a minute. But they've been involved with that for many, many years, and sending a team of amazing sports chiros there to treat the athletes. And so I'm personally looking forward to hearing all about it because that's one of my sort of bucket list events that I've been toying with for a long time, but never been brave enough. So without further ado, let's introduce the boys and get them on the show. So welcome lads. Welcome.
Awesome. Hi, thanks for having us.
Thanks, Mika.
Hey, no problem. So, hey, why don't we start with Jaidan a little bit? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Cape Epic and what it actually is and what it entails?
All right. So, in general, the Cape Epic is actually known as the Tour de France of mountain biking. It's an 8-day event that starts off with a prologue stage, very short stage to kind of seed the riders into a bit of a lineup, and then they endure 7 stages after that of tackling the Cape Town, what would you call it, landscapes. Very tough, very sure. I think it's a mental and a physical game all in one. We were asked to be a part of one of the big banks that take a hospitality side of they take a whole lot of riders down there that they give a hospitality experience to, and someone went out on a limb on us and took a chance on us and have never looked back, and we've been one of the suppliers that they stick with now for I think it's about 5 years now.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. So is this a pro event or is this more like amateur event? What's the kind of lineup of riders there?
So it is open to amateurs. So you can pay your way. We do see the pros coming out. Obviously with COVID this year, that was a very reduced number of riders that came. But usually we have pretty much the creme de la creme of riders arriving and competing. Especially from Europe.
They really try to make it tougher, each year to get the best riders taking part.
Yeah, and I think Jesse and I, we were speaking about it in the sense that I've been doing it for 5 years, but this event has been going for I think it's close to 15 or something like that. You might know Jesse with Hanalei, but to see the evolution. Yeah, so then probably 17th, and I think to see the evolution of the event, and it just shows the evolution of cycling. They were doing very long days, 200k stages, kind of very, very long kind of stages. That was pretty much gravel road, and now it's become almost what we are seeing on the mountain bike circuit, which is country Olympic. It's almost about 80-90 k's of just cross country, very hard riding.
Wow. So is this a lot of altitude change as well, all sorts of terrain? It's not obvious. I take it it's not just road and path anymore, but it's
no, yeah. So since I've been doing it probably 5-ish years, it looks like you could kind of bank on anything between 70 and 100 k's a day, and probably about 2,000 meters of elevation. It's taxing.
Yeah, sounds like it. Jeep, it's not something I fancy right now, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, definitely not something for a complete amateur.
Yeah, I don't think we've got a couple of South African guys that are patients in our clinics, and we we follow them for, I mean, probably the latter half of a year to 2 years to build up to something like this. It's not just something you pull your bike off out of the garage and start riding.
No, exactly. So I mean, that sounds brilliant. You've obviously developed a good relationship with these particular athletes and guide them through their training to a degree, and of course nutritional side and all the other bits and bobs. So that must be really fulfilling for you as well as a doctor.
Yes. I mean, we do try to kind of keep up to date with what the latest is in terms of bike fitting and saddle pressures and nutrition, like you say, rest and recovery, making sure that from the chiropractic kind of point of view, we are managing them from soft tissue and massage. We're trying to give them the best opportunity to complete that race. And so we will kind of instill as much knowledge as we can onto our patients.
Yeah. So Jaidan, were you mountain biking before you started at the Cape Epic, or?
I think that's probably what helped me a little bit break into it. The guy that originally started doing it was Chart van der Merwe. He was running it, and he was a mountain biker himself. He knew me as a mountain biker as well, so I did start it before I had known Epic, and he then handed it off to me. And I think that just helps us a lot in understanding what these guys go through.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you can talk the lingo and you understand what these guys do, I mean, it's the relationship is very different there, and of course they respond so much better as well. I would guess.
No, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's all about communication and speaking the lingo. When you're speaking about intervals or what kind of pedals they're running or whatever, that kind of thing, it does give them peace of mind that that when they are going to explain their problem or their issue on a bike, you're going to understand what they're talking about.
Knowing what they've experienced during the day as well.
Yeah, 100%.
They're coming in.
So tell me a little bit about the average day on Cape Epic as a chiropractor. Then what's your typical day there?
Yeah, I think Jesse could probably answer that.
Jesse can give us a lowdown on that one.
The nice thing is we started quite late every day, so we were still able to do hikes and runs and explore the area with all these new chiros that we were meeting at the time. We had 12 chiropractors with us, so that was 8 chiropractic students who were all pretty well experienced interns. So we had a chance to, before our day started, to actually go out and hike and get to know them better. And then we arrived at the setup, which was amazing. Obviously, the ABSA setup is really, really professional. The 8 chiropractic students would do the half-an-hour massages, which were all pre-booked. And then they would, kind of let us know what they'd found. You can find a lot in a half-an-hour massage. And as I said, they're experienced interns. So it was nice to get their opinion as they handed over the patients. And then from there, obviously, we took it a little bit further. And we ended up, seeing the same cyclists every day. So you see those niggles unfold and those imbalances. And it was really cool to see. I know Jaidan's been there year after year. So a lot of the athletes who do the race every year, they recognize Jaidan and they seek him out, and that was really cool to see as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
so your day
and
would
I think
start.
too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. And I mean, just to carry on with it, I think what we do try to do from a chiro sport kind of point of view is, we could very easily hand off the massage component to qualified massage therapists. But I think this forms it's quite a pinnacle event for our students to be a part of, because you literally are drawing on 4 top chiropractors that are sports kind of related, and you're drawing on their knowledge, their skill and their experience. And it was really good to see that, it's as a chiro that's been in the game for 8 years kind of thing, you hope that you're not stagnant, but to kind of see the youngsters come up like Jesse and Lachelle and Manali that were there, you are actually learning from them too, which was really, really cool to see, picking up little tips and tricks to take home to practice.
Yeah, same from my side. As much as the students were, excited and asking questions about clinic, and obviously I hope I gave them the right answers, I also felt like, I was learning a lot at the time, and there's a lot of refreshing going on.
Yeah, 100%.
That you forgot about, you'll see someone use, or obviously something new that someone does differently.
Oh, absolutely. No, when I go to stuff like this, not a day goes by when literally I don't learn something new, or something I've forgotten, or something that is just out of my sort of active vocabulary, if you should call it that. And no, it's great to just have a conversation and exchange tips and whatnot with colleagues. That's always I love doing that. So in terms of your sort of standard day, you said you start late. Is that just after the stage ends? That's when obviously the athletes clamber off the bikes and then have a shower and come and seek you guys out. Is that sort of 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon? What's the kind of timeline for that?
No, not that late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's So what over the years it's just been a little bit more refined, and we figured out. I've figured out how things work, and so I mean, believe it or not, 70 to 100 k's these guys are doing in probably 3.5 to 4.5 hours. The top guys. And so we are required to be there when the pros do come in. Some of the pros, they don't really filter into us, and that's just, I understand that's professionals they've got their team there with them from Europe or wherever they've come. So it's very hard to, they have a little bit of reluctance to try something new on a race when they are trying to literally take the event as a win. But then from then on, and we're talking about probably about 9-10 o'clock, we are ready to rumble, and the top elite guys start coming through, then the middle of the road, and then kind of the back markers. So it kind of filters out very nicely. And I think COVID has just kind of sped the evolution of it up very quickly in terms of how do we get these guys in and out and efficient and clean and that sort of thing. So, I mean, at this year, what happens was the guys kind of they come in, they take their bikes. The bikes have got tags on. They get tagged and sent off to the mechanics. They come in, they shower, they then book their massage, they book their meal, they book their chiro, and off they would do. And then within 2 hours, they've had all of that, and then they're out of the village.
Wow. Well, that's very efficient.
Yeah. And I mean, like I say, in the past, it wasn't as good as that. You had guys that were maybe a little bit shattered and tired, and so they then would have a little 2 or 3 hour snooze, and then they kind of cotton on to, hey, we need to go see the massage and the chiro. And it ended up being a very drawn out event, working well until 8 or 9 in the night. And I see Jill Johnston was there, and she's been there before, and she can kind of attest to this 9 o'clock kind of working. And so I mean, it's much more streamlined, and really looking forward to how this thing evolves in the future.
Oh, brilliant. So talking about,
go on. I'm lucky, where I stepped in. Just hearing stories, I feel like it really has come a long way and evolved a lot, the whole operation. But I mean, just from what I experienced, I can't imagine it much better.
Yeah. I think Jesse's bang on there. I think he's very right. I think we've found a very well-oiled machine at the moment.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. So in terms of your day-to-day treatment stuff, I mean, I would presume no big crashes, no big injuries, but more like your typical run-of-the-mill overuse, bit of tendinopathy, this kind of thing, alignment stuff, as you would expect. Or am I incorrect? What kind of stuff did you guys actually treat?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It is mostly overuse stuff, and it's funny. Guys tinker, with their bikes, and they tinker with their shoes, and they think something's going to work, and so that's probably run of the mill stuff. We do tend to get a few severe stuff. I think this year we had there's one of an old SA rugby player that was kind of riding, and these guys are as tough as nails, and rode 2 days with after a crash that he had hurt his ribs, but ended up having fractured them and a punctured lung. So, I mean, it did take some kind of diagnosis to kind of pick up and say, listen, I don't think I'm happy with you riding tomorrow. I want you to go and check this out. And then, you know, the Epic does have a very, very state-of-the-art Mediclinic that is on site, and so they are intervening with all the very major stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure, you know, these rugby players and that, you know, they have a certain reputation of being tough as nails, like you said. So maybe when the guy literally cannot take a full breath and winches every time you even look at his ribs, you know, that could be a bit of a giveaway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. That's the really cool stuff, is being able to make calls like that. You know, you like I say, you don't often see this stuff in clinic, and to be field side and making these decisions is quite exhilarating for some.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's one thing learning about this in the books, you know, but actually seeing it for real, I mean, it just makes it. I mean, I quite like it. You know, not necessarily for the gruesome or the injury, but it's great experience.
Yeah.
Did we just get an easy year, Jaidan, in terms of, you know, serious injuries?
Yeah, I definitely do think that we had an easier year in all. I think you know, I think ABSA and I mean the organizers had arranged or somehow managed to get the guys that they knew were going to finish this race and that were going to put in the training and finish successfully. But I mean, I think in past years we've definitely had some very gnarly injuries, and what's really nice is to see it being followed up. You know, we used to, I think it was also Wellington probably 3 or 4 years ago, with a guy that had what we thought was an AC separation, and we were able to follow that right through. You know, we treated him for a bit, we strapped him up for a day or two, it then got a little bit worse. And then we followed him through to the Mediclinic and then onto the X-rays and it was really cool to see the process. But definitely had an easier year this year.
No, you're probably not complaining about that per se, though, having an easier year.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's all like I said, you know, it's all kind of exciting to see injuries and that happen and take place. But then again, you know, put it in the context, you know, for the athletes, of course, it's a heartbreak in the middle of an event, and sometimes it can be a silly mistake that cost them the whole race, you know, let alone be even the rest of the season. But no,
absolutely. And I think you know, you are at the mercy of the elements there, and I'll never. And one of our years, I think we experienced probably. I think the one guy they were in one of the valleys, and on his Garmin cycle computer picked up 56 degrees of Celsius. So I mean, that's a really, really hot day, and there you know, these guys have paid big money to try and be part of this race. They want to have the finishers medal, but you have got to unfortunately give them the what would you kind of lay the law down and say, you know, listen, you cannot ride, you are not looking good. And I think we had a few cases of rhabdomyolysis and kidney failure, and that it was quite a hectic year that year. So you are having to dish out some hard pills to swallow.
I think it's the same challenge in all sport. You know, getting athletes to acknowledge a head injury or especially rugby.
Oh, I mean, same thing, Jesse. I mean, you know, from experience, you know, with ultra marathons and things, you know, you tell a runner that, okay, you know what, you need to take 6 to 8 weeks off. And the runner will say, well, I'll just do a quick 10K to get home then, you know.
They run to the appointments,
Yeah, exactly. You know, surely that's fine. It's just the easy 10K, you know, it can't hurt me anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. No, athletes are, you know what, it can be a heartache for us as well. Sometimes they don't listen, but you know what, I mean, I think like you say, you know, somebody's quite literally they're urinating blood and whatnot, you know, there's a kidney failure going on. I mean, come on, they're going to listen at that point, aren't they?
Yeah, no, and believe it or not, not so many. I recall one rider that sticks out in my mind that was adamant. He was wanting to finish, and no matter what was going on, and they literally had to escort him to Mediclinic, and it was a hard situation.
Yeah, I've had that happen at rugby match once. So I used to treat this team back locally here in the UK, and this chap had a bad stinger injury, and his whole right arm went completely floppy. He was unable to move it, but he just kept asking me, come on, just Mika, do your clicky thing, I'll be okay to go back. And I said, look, Mike, you can't move your arm, your arm is completely floppy, we can't put you back on, you can't hold a ball. And in the end, it took me and 2 physios to manually physically restrain him from getting back on the pitch. And and he was absolutely adamant that he would be fine, but they just get carried away with the hype and with the adrenaline and all of that. So no, it can be gnarly as well in that respect. Cool.
Yeah.
So hey, what did the organizers think? What do the riders think when you guys turn up? What kind of feedback do you guys get?
Yeah, I think Jesse got some really good feedback. I think from Team Garmin, Ben and Yolandi. Jess,
ended up seeing them afterwards in practice, which was really cool. They both came through.
And I mean,
looking at doing another race the following weekend.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, these guys don't stop.
They don't stop, and I think they do. They say, you often, you often hear it. These guys really on day 7 and day 8, you start to wind down, and these guys start to thank you, and they start to tell you things of that they wouldn't have got through the race without us, and I mean that's always really encouraging to hear. That you've made a difference in their world.
And then also, I mean, we all know the skeptics on day 1, and then they come and see you on day 2, and by day 7,
they're the biggest fans.
Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly. That's great stuff. And obviously, I think the organizers must be happy with you guys because they keep inviting you back.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I think we're very privileged to have it. I mean, when I do speak to them, I actually spoke to them today. I mean, to know that we are one of the preferred providers and the non-negotiables is very cool to know that we are putting in the graft with these guys. And it's a very short lead time, but we're already starting to reload and get ready for March. March next year, we're already doing Epic again.
Really? So is it turning into a twice a year event, or are they just changing the dates?
So it's going back to where it used to be. It's normally a March event. So this October event was because of COVID.
Oh, so it's postponed from March this year.
Yeah, so it was postponed to October from March, which was very interesting. I mean, different weather, different everything, which was unreal. But yeah, we reload and March is coming. It's around the corner, hey?
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be a quick turnaround for you guys then. Cool. So hey, what else is happening in South Africa then next year in terms of?
There's Jaidan in action there.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a very convincing photo, that is.
So we had cool drinks set up in a fridge, and we had fans and tents set up the whole way.
Yeah,
but, he really does look like he knows what he's doing there, doesn't he?
I'd hope so.
No, that's brilliant. That's great. So next year, what else is happening then in down South Africa way?
From chiros Sport point of view, so Epic will be our one in March. We're quite involved with IPF and SAPF, which is the powerlifting federations. So I know that we've got All Africa champs coming up in, I think it could be November or early Jan, which is going to be really exciting. That's something I really love to do. Mm-hmm. It's a complete different sport, complete different athlete. So I think we've got a couple of those events, and hopefully we're seeing some hands-on modules coming our way as well.
Yeah, I hope so, eh? Get those newbies trained up and ready to rock and roll and rumble.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And of course, then we have a few other bits coming up next year. We got, of course, the World Games coming up in the States. I think there's CSIT games, all sorts of stuff is coming up. So yeah, no, next year looks really amazing. Actually, a lot of good fun coming our way. And getting back in the games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
excited to have Jaidan join the marketing commission as well.
Oh, Jaidan's joining marketing now. Amazing.
This was the whole plan.
Is this the formal announcement?
The announcement or the interview or something like that.
Oh, maybe
he just needs to grow a beard and then he's in.
Yeah. See, that is a bit of a prerequisite. Yeah,
Okay,
you don't get on the marketing
good.
commission without a beard. No, that's absolutely right. Cool. But hey, listen, for all the viewers out there, obviously Jesse here wrote an amazing blog post on the Cape Epic experience. So that's available on the FICS website. Of course, there's look out for the new e-news when that comes out soon. So there's going to be a big write-up about it there. And what else is in the e-news? I can't remember, but there's loads of cool stuff. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Of course, pop onto the FICS website and the Facebook and everything, because we just keep pumping out new content all the time. So keep up and enjoy. Hopefully it's all informative and educational and entertaining as well at the same time. But no, hey, listen, guys, thank you very much. It's been a great chat this evening. I mean, I really love hearing about these games and stories and whatnots. Always brightens my day, especially now in UK in November. It tends to be a bit grim here.
I think it's way past our bedtime now.
Yeah, I better let you guys crawl into bed now.
Full disclosure, I actually fell asleep earlier. That's what I said in the log.
Listen, you're not alone. I took a power nap between. We have a thing called load shedding this side, which is a lack of power. So I slept while it was dark, and then woke up, and I'm ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could have done with a power nap today after the day I've had, but no rest for the supremely talented. Hey. Good. Hey, cheers, guys. Thank you very much for the chat. And we'll look forward to catching up again with you guys soon.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Mika. Thanks for having us.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Cool, man. Cheers.